Yeah, that's a big one. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. That is so huge in our life. You meet people, and I hope you're not one of these, that say to themselves, you crossed me one time, that's it. You're good as dead to me. Some people don't have the capacity to forgive only because they don't want to. Everybody has the capacity. But you got to forgive in this life. You have to give what one day you'll be asking for. Forgiveness. Who's perfect? Who's perfect in this life? I'd like to know. Is there anybody? I thought I was a long time ago. Boy, was I wrong. But who's perfect? Nobody's perfect. We're all flawed as human beings. We have defects. Okay? We make mistakes. We make errors in our life. There's no way that you can get around it. And if you pretend to be perfect, then you got issues. So when we're not perfect and when we make mistakes and when we do things we shouldn't do, we have to have the capacity to forgive others. Also, to forgive ourselves. Because sometimes we're such perfectionists. Everything's got to be perfect in a place. And some people actually can forgive others, but they can't forgive themselves. What good is that? That is so damaging. Do yourself a favor. Be a friend to yourself and forgive things and let things go. Just let it go sometimes. You may not forget, but certainly let it go. Don't hold yourself to impossible standards where you won't forgive yourself. And certainly the same for others. And that includes your parents and your brothers and sisters and best friends. You have to forgive them sometimes. You think your parents are perfect at times, especially growing up, till about the age of 8 or 10 years old. But they make mistakes too, and you have to forgive them. And you have to approach them when there's an issue and say, hey, what's going on here? You talk it out, you work it out, and at the end of the day, you forgive. You forgive each other if necessary. But don't be so hard. You don't have your heart harden over to the point where you won't forgive somebody. And you may have to forgive them more than once. Maybe 2, 3, 5, 10 times or more in a span of months or years or a lifetime. But just have the ability to forgive. Now, if somebody's trying to screw you over and over without trying to repent, so to speak, and change his or her ways, then you got to let them go. Then you got to say, okay, I forgive you, but that's it. Our friendship's done. This can't continue. I'm not a fool. You can't be blind to what other people are blatantly doing to you sometimes. So forgive, and sometimes you forget them and let them go and get them out of your life. That's definitely an option that sometimes we have to take. But the ability to forgive. And how do you learn to forgive? Well, if you have good parents and good family, that comes along with time and with maturity. Sometimes you are too stubborn to forgive, stubborn and arrogant. Well, how could that person do that to me? I'll never forgive him or her. Well, you got to, because if you don't forgive, it builds up inside yourself and then hurts yourself. You end up hurting yourself. So when you let it go and forgive another, you're letting them off the hook, so to speak, but also you're helping yourself because you're not holding on to that spiteful, stubborn bygone. That should be a bygone. Like, bye, gone. However you want to say it, just let it go for your own sake. You'll feel better. It'll be like a weight off your shoulders. And what's the best way to know about forgiveness and learn about forgiveness from the very best who ever lived? That would be Jesus Christ, God the Father's son who lived on this planet, who is our role model for us to imitate. He was all about forgiveness. When he died on the cross for us, he said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Now, who of us could say that and would say that on a cross dying, forgiving the people that did it to him? But Jesus did. Jesus was the man. Again, he is a great friend with the greatest advice that any of us could ask for. So take advantage of that. And if you want to learn about forgiveness, then you got to go God's way. You got to go Jesus's way. Understand how he lived when he was on this planet for 33 years. That will benefit you and the people around you. It just will. So forgive and forget. Never harden your heart. Never be stubborn. Forgive. Learn off Jesus the man. That's all I got to say.